There is a conflict in early Christianity between Paul and the apostles over whose revelation of Jesus Christ is the one to follow in some ways, and whether Paul's revelation and Paul's apostleship is valid. Paul's argument is that his revelation of Jesus Christ is as valid as the resurrection appearances to the disciples. The disciples, of course, argument is that it's not, and we see this conflict especially in Galatians. And I think the way that Mark is written, and especially the vocabulary of Mark, is very Pauline in some ways. And so there is the possibility, and this is speculative, so I want to alert our listeners to that. But I think there is the possibility that Mark is written to a Pauline community, that is a community who has heard the gospel not through the disciples, that is, the disciples who experienced the resurrection accounts in Matthew and Luke, but through Paul. And that this is part of Mark's program of inclusion of his audience, is to set them apart from the disciples who don't get a resurrection appearance, who don't get to hear the good news at the end, but they as an audience do. We think of gospel as a self-evident genre. It's a story about the life of Jesus Christ. But in fact, Mark is the first author to call his story a gospel. And the Apostle Paul is the first person to use the gospel in the singular to describe the preaching that he's doing. And so I think there's a very interesting connection there.